Here's another hike starting in San Antonio Canyon off the road to Mount Baldy. This one goes up a side canyon, Bear Canyon, to Bear Flat. It starts off with a paved road going by a number of very nice cabins. There's also a very nice little stream going down the bottom of the canyon. Also some rather interesting bridges to allow people to get across the creek to get to their cabins. Some of these cabins are perched right on the canyon sidewalls, as you can see here. But then the paved road ends. We start off on the hiking trail. We're going to make a loop out of part of this hike and take the trail that goes part way out of the canyon to get up to Bear Flat. This also gives us a pretty good chance to get some nice views here looking down San Antonio Canyon. And finally we get to what is known as Bear Flat, although it doesn't seem to be very flat. Bear Flat seems to be mostly just ferns on part of a hillside. Be that as it may, we decided to go beyond a little bit. The trail actually goes all the way to the top of Mount Baldy if you keep going, but that's another 5 miles away with a 4,500-foot additional climb. We went perhaps a quarter mile beyond Bear Flat, and at one point we could look down and see it. Not very large and not very flat. And before turning around to start back, Dale took a minute to admire this lush greenery. And so we'll take a minute to pan around and see as much of it as we can. All this greenery is actually a bit unusual for these mountains. And so we began the trip back on down. And on the way back we branched off to take the trail that took us down to the bottom of Bear Canyon. And there we were with this pretty stream running down the bottom of it. This also got us into an area of quite a few more cabins, with a number of makeshift bridges to get across the creek. The trail also followed along the creek on a rock ledge in a number of places. And then another homemade bridge across the creek. This area is quite peaceful and woodsy looking. Access to some of these cabins seems quite difficult, with only this narrow trail following the creek being the only access. Our hike, however, ended up being about 4 miles with a 1,300-foot elevation gain.